Putin, US and allies have ignored Russia's security demands, AP News.
Here's a summary of the article.
Moscow, Russian President Vladimir Putin said Tuesday that the US and its allies have ignored Russia's top security demands but added that Moscow is still open for more talks with the West on easing soaring tensions over Ukraine. The demands, rejected by NATO and the US as non-starters, come amid fears that Russia might invade Ukraine, fueled by the buildup of an estimated 100,000 Russian troops near Ukraine's borders. Russia annexed Ukraine's Crimean Peninsula in 2014 following the ouster of the country's Moscow-friendly president and later threw its weight behind rebels in Ukraine's eastern industrial heartland, triggering a conflict that has killed over 14,000. The Hungarian leader has avoided taking a definitive stance on the buildup of Russian troops along Ukraine's borders, and some of his opponents at home criticized his trip to Moscow as a betrayal of Hungary's interests in Western alliances. Senior State Department officials described the call as professional and fairly candid, noting that Lavrov restated Russia's insistence that it has no plans to invade Ukraine, and Blinken replied that if Putin didn't really intend to invade Ukraine, Russia should withdraw its troops. Morawiecki criticized Germany for considering the certification of the newly built Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline that would carry Russian natural gas to German consumers bypassing transit countries Ukraine and Poland. Zelensky said Ukraine would forge a new trilateral political alliance with Britain and Poland, hailing it as a reflection of strong international support for Ukraine.
This post received a score of 24,000, with an upvote ratio of 91%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
We haven't ignored your demands. We sent you a letter. It said no.
That goes right up there with, school bully not so tough since being molested.
Pretty sure we said no. That's not being ignored. It's being told no.
The whole world knows they are fake demands too. Russia is embarrassing itself.
They aren't embarrassed. This all going according to plan for them. They want their citizens to support a war against Ukraine and anybody who helps Ukraine. The only reason they care about how others see them is because it allows them to exploit it.
I demand you remove any kind of protection made in preparation of Russia going to war. Then Russia won't go to war.
NATO should stop being so threatening and aggressive, and should withdraw from sovereign countries that happen to be our neighbors that invited them, because of course we aren't going to invade Ukraine like we did in 2014 or Georgia in 2008.
We are done with that whole invading Ukraine thing. In fact, all these defenses make it look like you are going to invade us. Greater than equals.
That's an awfully Canadian glare.
You watch your words, buddy.
They're demanding for all of Eastern Europe to return to a pre-1997 state, including an overall reduction in NATO troop levels and infrastructure to include the removal of anti-missile and anti-aircraft umbrellas in the Baltics and Poland. They also want the West to stop supplying Ukraine with anti-armor and anti-aircraft missiles after they've invaded Ukraine and Georgia. Lol.
Next, he'll demand a return of Eastern European nations into the Warsaw Pact.
He actually wants the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, in which Russia takes half of Poland. Security reasons.
Yes, taking over Poland, something that has never ever led to an escalated conflict of any kind.
Meh, it worked fine the first 3 times. Last time was just a fluke, I'm sure.
I think it's actually been a lot more than 3 times if we're including every historical Polish nation, duchy, etc. going back the last 1 to 2,000 years. That region has been Europe's war zone for generations, the proverbial meat in the middle. Poland doesn't really catch a break historically either.
Right. We recently found out that my great-great-grandparents were Polish, not German. Their immigration paperwork at Ellis Island said they came from Germany, which was true. However, their village was a Polish-speaking village that only 5 years earlier had been incorporated into the German Empire.
Going out on a limb to guess, but are you perhaps Pomeranian? A lot of the Pom families can't decide if they're German or Polish because of this issue with history.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.